Welcome back, Helketeers! On here, wishing a happy Chocolate Eggs Day to those of you so inclined, and a happy 420 to those of you so inclined, and nothing says Easter like fighting the theocratic man in Hell, a cyberpunk thriller. Last time on Hell, we rescued a bunch of folks from Hell, and eventually there's going to be a trigger, bringing out a bunch of more folks for us to rescue, but for the moment, our business is in the real world. And we have to head on over to the last of the places we learned about in Mushua's electronic diary, that being the Psionic League. Our business with the Psionic League will eventually get us another party member that we're going to be needing for a few things. So let's head on over for a rather lengthy and involved chain of quests. Fortunately, not quite as dry as the Gang Alley stuff. Now let's see, where is Psionic League HQ? Ah, there it is, right by Captain Jersey's apartment in Georgetown. And here we see they are saving one mind at a time and fighting for empaths. I guess those are worthy causes. We'll have our traditional look around.
You'd think the psionics could just phone it in, but no, they maintain this general storefront reception area at their headquarters in order to interface with the public. And the posters, especially the one over the door, are a reminder to members and recruitables alike that psionic powers can be as dangerous to the individual as to society.
As always, with great power comes great responsibility. Now then, let's see who we've got on the premises. On the left we have Caitlin Connor doing some sort of telekinetic exercise. And on the right we have the gentleman with the best name in the game, and really one of the best names I've encountered anywhere. HACHARDO. That is really, really satisfying to say. Try it a few times with me, won't you? HACHARDO. 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 Alright then. We'll start having a look at them, as we so often do.
A young woman focuses her telekinetic energies as she hones her skills.
Fair enough. And what about Batch?
A member of the Psionic League eyes you suspiciously.
Come on, Batch, that's no attitude to have toward Rachel and Gideon.
Looks like you're working hard.
Columbus pushes us past our endurance and then some, but it's the only way to develop our powers.
Now, what exactly is that thing that she's exercising her powers with there? It looks like some sort of globe, but what's interesting about it, to me, is that in addition to manipulating it through the holes, she's changing its size to fit them. What would actually be really cool, I think, is if it were a ball of water that she were holding in a, in a coherent sphere shape, as well as, having to float it around. I choose to believe that.
Talk to him yourself. You'll see. He's in the next room with Susie Toast, who's an ideal example of the work Columbus does here. Columbus had a big effect on her. She's become one of his most trusted assistants. It's almost like a father-daughter relationship between them now. I'm sorry, but speaking with you is distracting me. I'm afraid I'll drop the ball, and I'm working on a new personal endurance record.
Okay, the dialogue there is completely different from what we see reflected in the subtitles. But the subtitles are worth reading, I suppose, because they convey some additional information. We see that Susie Toast, by the way, Susie Toast, really? Was hanging out with a dude named Splits Magnola, who is a more criminal sort of psionic. And as a matter of fact, the whole reason we're here, in game terms, is that we're going to have to recruit Splits to our cause. Oh, okay, now we're getting a matchup with the voice. Alright, we wouldn't want to make you drop your water ball there, so let's continue onward to HACHARDO!
Hey, folks, zero in on Kate. She's had that ball moving for close to half an hour. Spatola's put her on an endurance circuit. She's to keep the ball going for as long as she can.
Yeah, we kind of gathered that.
What about you? You're a telepath as well?
I'm not a mover or a looker. I'm a rare one, a synesthete. My perception of sensory data blends so that I perceive one sense in terms of another. Colors taste, sounds are tactile, smells prompt visions, and I can never predict how the senses will sort themselves.
Synesthesia is not really a psionic power, I would say. I mean, it's really nothing more than a sensory inconvenience. Possibly a dramatic one, but I don't really understand how you're going to practice working with that in any sort of psionic league.
Fascinating. That must be difficult to live with.
Damn straight. I couldn't hold a job. Tried working in a restaurant, but I couldn't take customers' orders. They would ask for burgers and fries, and I would register it visually as big yellow splotches dripping with grease. Tried driving a cab once, but I kept experiencing the road as a taste, and it gagged me so bad I couldn't drive.
You were experiencing the road as a taste?
And it was awful. Tasted like rotted flesh and motor oil. Took days to get that out of my mouth. Well, that was the end of my career as a driver. I was fast-tracking to derelict status before Columbus took me in and taught me mastery over my powers.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's see if either of them has anything more to say.
Not now. This is getting heavy.
Is it getting heavy?
Whoa! I just flashed a color aura on you two. Icy blues, brooding blacks and grays, and some explosive reds. You two must be out to put a serious hurtin' on someone.
Yeah, we wouldn't mind taking a piece or two out of Cyborg Grace Jones, I'm sure. Well, let's check out the other room. You know, I remember reading once about someone who experienced some synesthetic phenomenon after being struck by lightning and otherwise recovering. And after they came back from, all their rehab after being struck by lightning, every time they heard dogs bark, they would smell graham crackers. That's kind of freaky. Anyway, not terribly relevant to the game, which we will refocus on now. This, I guess, is pretty much the nerve center of the Psionic League, and there, on the left, we see the resident Professor X figure, Columbus Spatola, and on the right, this must be Susie Toast.
The Thinkers Think Tank, the strategic planning room for the Psionic League's brain trust. The need for a vidscreen shows, perhaps, the limits of their power. The globe sticking out of the conference table like an exposed brain, their desired sphere of influence.
Alright, game, what do you have to say about Columbus?
A formidable man keeps several balls afloat telekinetically.
Not a word about what a snappy dresser he is. Nice, purple formal wear with a cape. And Ms. Toast?
A young, pleasant-looking woman practices her telekinetic skills.
Okay, fair enough. Susie, we'll start with you. Hurry it up, Gideon.
Have you come to join the League?
Not quite. We're hoping that the League can join us. We've got some serious problems that need psionic attention.
You'd better talk to Columbus. He's the founder of the League. We take our lead from him.
Well, I suppose that's fair, but don't you have anything more to say than that?
Really, you should speak with Columbus about the use of psionic powers.
Alright, I get the drift.
Can I help you with something? Are you psionic seeking help using your gifts?
We aren't psionic, and actually, we've come to help you.
I'm not aware that I need any help.
You won't know either until it's too late. The hand scrub teams don't usually call ahead to check if it's convenient for them to stop by.
You say the hand wants to kill me. You've got my interest. Keep talking.
No orders have been issued yet, but your activities are giving some high-ups in the transgressor's office the shakes.
The hand of God has nothing to fear from us. We aren't political, and we're sworn to never use our powers for gain. I thank you for the warning, however.
You have any other thoughts on our situation in particular there, Columbus?
No use repeating your warning about the transgressor. I'd rather be dead than cease my work.
Alright, alright.
That's your problem, Spatola. We have more important business. The hand wants us dead for sins we haven't committed. And you might be the only person who can help us.
No, I can't help you. The League cannot be distracted from its chief purpose, the development of psionic power for its own sake. We can't become involved in things like this no matter how important the cause.
But surely this is significant enough.
The gift is too easily corrupted. A psionic's power is as natural to him as your sight is to you. It requires discipline and effort not to use the power. Any use for individual gain, political advantage, profit, any exception, shatters the discipline, leaves the psionic open to corruption. I know. I've seen it happen too often, seen too many good people lose themselves.
Well, he's a bit strict, but he's a straight shooter. And I guess it's good to have your principles.
Columbus, surely...
No. Really, I'm sorry. The League's not touching something that could destroy it.
Yeah, well, I guess that's, a nail in the coffin for getting any help from the man at the top. But Susie was kind of insistent that we talk to Columbus before dealing with her. Now that we've done so, maybe she'll have a little more to say.
I heard what you and Columbus were talking about. You need psionic help?
Looks that way, but from what Columbus was talking about, it doesn't look like we're going to find it here.
Don't be too sure about that. I owe Columbus a great deal. But not all of us are as strict as he is about non-intervention.
So you're volunteering to help us out of this mess with the hand? What's in it for you?
I'm not the one who's going to help you. That would violate my principles as well and cost me Columbus's trust and friendship. No, there's someone else who might help you. Someone who has already fallen from grace. someone I still might redeem. His name is Splits Magnola. He was a member of the League once, but Splits was a free spirit. He was jazzed on mind-surfing, couldn't resist the touch of another's mind, and he couldn't submit to Columbus's authority.
Now you're talking.
You read a few minds, big deal. I'd probably do the same thing if I were psionic.
It's not as simple as that. The power is seductive. Splits started out innocently enough. Skim a woman's mind to see if she was interested. Project a scan during a card game to see if anyone was cheating. But it's a small step from there to planting an urge in a woman's mind or looking at somebody's cards through their eyes. Playing all the hands at the table. Making people throw away cards they should have kept. Things like that. Once you're inside, you flash on the brain's unending possibilities. You can't resist exploring. And Splits was careless. Lacked the mastery to be gentle. He would make mistakes. Mistakes that left permanent brain damage.
Once again, we've got a fair bit of dialogue that doesn't actually make it into the text, but interesting stuff.
Alright, so Splits is a Rudy and he got blackballed from your club. Why should we want to hook with a disrupt like him? And what's your share in this?
Splits isn't the lost cause Columbus thinks he is. I know him. He isn't evil, just weak.
Know him? You mean you two were lovers? Sorry, girl, we don't have time to run love errands. You want your boyfriend back? You go get him.
Wow, Rachel. Just wow. And also, from know him to know him biblically, that's quite a leap.
Oh, you're a tough one, aren't you? I wouldn't have him back if he wanted me. Sex is different between psionics. We share countless connections. Body entwined with body. Mind pressed hard against mind. I've been inside his head. And I'd never trust him enough to love him. But I know that I can't let him destroy himself. The last we heard of him, he was involved with a gang of psionic psychotics, calling themselves the Menials. They work the black market for empathic resonances in order to fund their drug habits. If you can get him away from the Menials and bring him here, we might be able to save him from himself and gain you a psionic ally.
I'm not really sure why we quite needed the detour into your sex life there, Ms. Toast, but I do appreciate the lead.
Maybe we're interested. Where do we find the menials?
They have a dive near the Capital South Station.
And they're dealing in empathics, right? What's their source? They aren't just randomly panning the malls, are they?
All I know is that they're strip mining pure emotion from the patients in a mental hospital. I don't know which hospital. For that matter, it might be a no-name CRISPR. Just keeping the patients alive and scared so the emotions keep coming. The menials have to be stopped. And you can help me.
Okay, so this menials crew that Splits is hooked up with. If we can get him away from the menials, we might also be able to bring the menials down in the process. Sounds like an all-around, winning situation.
Why should we?
Damn it, Rachel!
Because that's my price for helping you with Splits. You bring him here, and I'll see that he helps you. The menials aren't empaths. They don't care about anything, so they have to employ collector units, they call them diggers, to help them harvest emotional energy. If you can bring me one of the diggers, I'm sure I can add a cyber fry to it that will stop them. Help me stop the menials and bring Splits to me, and I'll make certain he helps you.
Okay, fair enough. We have our marching orders. We have to, check out the menials, get one of their digger units, and, bring it back to Susie along with Splits. Fair enough. Let us begin. Capital South, eh? Where is that? Now where the hell is Capital South? Oh, there we are. Neighbors to the Neo-Gnostics. Menial's World Headquarters. Are they an international crew? Oh, looks like they know how to party, but, come on, guys, it's 420. You got the wrong kind of drugs here.
The Menial's World Headquarters seems like a crash pad for college boys drummed out of their frat house for being too rowdy and slovenly. And of course, there's nothing in the fridge but beer.
Hey, how about that beer?
The Menial's refrigerator is always well stocked with Ausgezeichnet Altbrau, their beer of choice. Mick routinely levitates bottles from the refrigerator to ease his seemingly unquenchable thirst.
Ausgezeichnet Altbrau. Sounds like fairly fancy stuff. Believe it or not, we'll actually need that information, the Menial's beer of choice. And the description mentioned Mick levitating bottles over to quench his seemingly endless thirst. So this chufty fellow at the table here must be Mick.
A menial slumps in his chair, all bad attitude and unfocused anger.
And what have we got here?
By clamping the jacks to their victim's nervous system, psionics can use this device to collect empathic resonances.
Ah, it's that digger we've been looking for.
We're gonna have to do something about this boozing psionic before we can get the collector.
Alright, fair enough. Well, Mick, what have you got to say for yourself?
Who are you? You're lucky I've been partying all day or I'd scan all your secrets.
I like the way he just kind of smacks the bottle into his lips and then floats it away without doing anything that could be construed as actually drinking.
If I even think I feel your drunken presence stumbling through my mind, I'll shoot you full of holes.
Got yourself a killer, Charlie? She must rough your ass up good.
You're disgusting.
Yeah, Mick, that's disgusting. Rachel and Gideon haven't been into pegging since that one incident at the academy they don't like to talk about.
Listen, here's the pitch. We're out of Chicago, jobbing for a Yakuza family that's branching out from designer drugs to experiential imprints. Supplies reliable. Got a pair of surgeons in the central clinic giving us access to anesthetized patients.
A little social engineering from Mr. Ashanti.
Menial's got wallet enough, Jack. We're stripping empathics from the loonies in Ariak Asylum over in Foggy Bottom. The nations are paying serious coin and there's no détente between the Japs and the Redskins. Circuit's overloading and his braves would have our scalps for dealing with Yakuza. That's that, Jack. You two can leave me to my beer now.
Well, we got a couple of bits of information there anyway. We've learned that the asylum that they're raiding is in Foggy Bottom, so that's going to be our next destination. And also that the menials are in league with some sort of American Indian criminal organization. Alright. Onward to Foggy Bottom.
What looks like a holding pen for cattle is actually the former dining area of this once prestigious sanitarium. The modern addition of a barbed wire-topped fence reveals that patients are often herded here while waiting to be taken off to patient areas for treatment. At other times, it's where the ghost dancer Phyllis Dancing Till Daybreak holds office and issues instructions to her staff of menials.
And the Phyllis Dancing Till Daybreak, who was just mentioned, is this lady on the right here. And on the left, we have one of her contacts within the menials, the pleasantly named Clap.
A large woman with eyes like burning coal supervises the havoc being wreaked upon the unfortunate in the next room of the asylum. Dressed in Indian clothes, she looks like some smug, demented Earth Mama.
Well, Phyllis sounds like a charmer, and how about Clap?
A nasty-looking Brit in leather smokes and scowls. Pity the asylum patient left to this fellow's mercy.
Okay. And I'm sure they're up for a friendly chat.
Well, looky here. My people used to say that evil spirits walk the earth at night.
And my people used to say you sound a lot like Electric Sex.
Well then, your ancestors must be real proud of you. Those your henchmen out there, sucking these people dry. You're Phyllis Dancing Till Daybreak, right? Looks like you're the evil spirit now, lady.
It's something to see, isn't it? My people, hard at work, mining the white men for natural resources. The Great Spirit has brought us full circle.
Yeah, either that or you're a common, run-of-the-mill sociopath.
What do you mean, your people? The menials look like a bunch of white trash to me, not Indians.
I know exactly how to use this scum. They are an evil I completely control. Besides, I am a ghost dancer. We are impervious.
Scum? Come on, Clap's right there. Be a little respectful.
Bullets bounce off you, right?
Yes. Something like that.
That's some evil laugh, lady.
And you have no qualms about messing with people's souls the way you're doing here.
None. Perhaps you prefer that I simply slit their pale throats. I've done that too. But I find it more satisfying to leave them wandering, soulless. The same way your people left my ancestors wandering the sparse confinement of the reservation. That's the thing about whites. You feel no responsibility toward your ancestors. I honor mine and take pleasure in revenge.
That's racist. You're racist, Phyllis.
Not to mention a healthy profit.
You think I care for the white man's money? My wampum comes to me in the currency of bloody, soul-shattering retribution. I plan to devour them. I'm going to take their money from them. Their feelings, their emotions, their souls.
That must be how you got your name, huh? Phyllis Dancing Till Daybreak, because you're such a happy sort?
Well, she does appear to enjoy her work. That's always a nice perk.
Do not mock me, demon, or it will be your blood dripping from my chin.
That would be chins. And don't kid yourself, Tubby. People like you are only tough enough when it comes to beating up wrecked people they find in asylums. You mess with us, it's gonna be your own blood you're tasting.
Alright, full credit to Rachel, that was a pretty decent burn. She's been looking to recoup ever since she, got shut down by the robot uterus.
My. All this talk of blood has my taste buds tingling. Are you really feeling all that lucky?
I admit she's a little bit stereotypical and lays it on a little thick, but I kinda like Phyllis. She's a fun villain figure.
Do not mock me, demon, or it will be your blood dripping from my chin.
We've established that. What do you have to say about all this, Clap?
Visitors to our humble institution, make yourselves at home. How might we help you? A parent or relative you wish to have committed?
Can the sales pitch, Clap. We're facing for a megacorp in Manhattan that needs a few hundred terabytes of pure existential fear and sex drive. Can you harvest something like that from this dump?
Okay, we've established that this game's sense of technical specifications can be a little dated with Charles the multi-server unit and his 400 megahertz processor, but a few hundred terabytes, that's still a hell of a lot of data.
Pump up the boys on runners and work them for a few days straight. They can fill any order, especially fear. There's plenty of fear here. Who the hell did you say you're working for anyhow?
Megacorp in Manhattan.
Take a look in the next room, and you tell me if your bugger-happy paymasters in New York can drill brain shafts like a menial.
Well, we are going to need information about splits, but first let's talk shop a little.
How do you mine the empathics?
That's right. Pump me for information so you can rip off our tech. Not that you'd be able to dupe it or have size ace enough to pull it off.
Didn't ask you for how to. Just checking that your action backs up your talk.
Right. If we can do it better than New York, we must be lying. The secret's in the power of the menials and the efficiency of the diggers. A mind link isn't simple, right? A brain's not just some freaking computer. Takes countless parallel neural transfers to create the simplest images or concepts.
So it's a complex job.
Yeah, it's a complex job. No two brain structures are alike, either. Mining the empathics would take too bloody long for Sire to prep each dig. Luckily, the nations had some genius tech come up with the diggers. You program them for specific neural energies, and the diggers channel the Sire's power to where you can start mining.
Well, makes sense to me. Now, on to splits.
You know how to queer a deal, Yank. Splits wasn't really a menial. Well, he partied with us and went psionic wilding a few times. He lost his nerve, though. When we showed him this mining gig, he took a powder on us and made off with a multi-terabyte D-base of empathic data that's worth millions. Don't know where he thinks he's going with it or who the hell he's selling it to. Don't just walk into a pawn shop with 6 terabytes of illegal emotions.
So you're after this Splits guy?
I don't care if Splits washes up in a trash heap along the Potomac, but I want that D-base back. And I've hired a gun from the Midwest, calls himself Milwaukee Jack, to track Splits until he's stupid enough to flash that D-base, and then the Jack is going to do him.
So Splits was never actually a member of the menials, really, more of just a good time hanger-on. But he has stolen from them, and now there's someone out to kill him. Guess we better work relatively quickly, huh?
Splits must be pretty paranoid if he's running from you. How's Jack gonna evade Splits' mind scans?
The Mill Jack psionic as well. Better than Splits, too. He won't even see it coming. Splits thinks his powers make him safe, so he drinks in the same bar every night, a speak called Fitzgerald's.
Aha. Well, we've got a lead on where to find Splits. That's handy.
Fitzgerald's? I know that place. It's over near L'Enfant Plaza.
Go on, look about. You think those wankers in New York can match our act? Not bloody likely.
Well, thank you for all the information, Chlamydia. While we're in the neighborhood, I suppose we ought to have a look at their mining operation, since we've been so politely invited to do so. Ugh. Maybe not quite as bad as the dentist drill in hell, but that's a fairly unpleasant sound.
Few people are ever given the chance to sleep in the beds lining this musty, rat-infested room, where the walls seem pockmarked from the searing agonies of the residents, past and present, and the weird thing that looks like an electric chair seems permanently galvanized from those sounds, too.
Okay, on the right we have Chet doing a little emotional mining on Rita Troit, and on the left we have Hump and his victim Cora Bora, who was once thought to be a hiding place for Osama bin Laden.
A menial uses a collector unit, a digger, to extract empathic resonances from a patient. The demeanor of housewives hasn't changed much over the years, except this one has a frazzled, exhausted, terrified look that comes from something other than watching the kids. A menial is draining the empathic resonances from a patient. It's evident that this cold, heartless bastard is in this for the pure pleasure of it, as well as for the money he'll undoubtedly make on the black market. A woman is having her empathic resonances ripped from her psyche by a sadistic menial. A manic depressive, her mind wrestles with the infidelity crime for which she was institutionalized.
And how's that working out for you, Cora?
You gotta watch me drain this one's brain. It's like soft serve, man.
Find a place. Must be secret. Getaway.
Spill it, bitch.
Come on, there's no need to be rude about it.
Yes. Yes. Naughty, naughty. Tuesdays. And Thursdays, too. Sneaky, dirty. Damnation be damned. The hell with it.
That's it. This one's spent.
Well, Mr. Hump, what have you got to say for yourself?
Hey, get a load of this. These old bitches are a mother load, man. The guilt, sex, vague dissatisfaction, hormonal roller coaster.
Is there much of a market for vague dissatisfaction?
Looks like you're in this for more than the money.
Better than any halibut, man. It's real, man.
Real pathetic.
Hey, you gonna let me suck this basket case dry, or you gonna be my next drain?
Go right ahead. You say you make out pretty good on these?
You kidding? Some accountant somewhere will pay enough for a smut bit to keep me living like a freaking hand legislator for a month. And the best thing is, once they start getting a taste they crave, the hotter stuff. Yeah, I heard that already, baby. Open up. Listen, I'm gonna have to work this one harder than I expected. Get lost!
You know what this reminds me of? Strange Days. A very underrated movie, in my opinion.
Geez, Gid, I don't know who's more zoned out. This poor woman or the friggin' vampire menial. Should we take a chance and try to talk with her?
It's worth a try. Hey, lady, can you talk while you're,
Talk? Listen, answer, do as told, ignore, lies, don't believe, talk back nice, don't tell, don't tell, don't tell.
It's okay. It's okay.
We're just looking for someone.
Friends, no friends, not since hell, just husband, no lover, just husband, no lover.
Ask her, Git. She's breaking my heart.
Magnola, lady. Splits Magnola.
Why the hell do you think she'd know anything about him?
Splits. Splitsville. Split up. Won't let me go.
It's hopeless, Rach. It's like she's been condemned to hell forever.
Yeah, this place is creeping me out. Let's hurry on over to Fitzgerald's Speakeasy, and hopefully we can find Splits Magnola before the Cheesehead does. Where was that? Ah, here we are. Sounds like they get their soundtrack from the same place as the other speakeasy we've been to, the Interface. So, real quick, let's drop a save game here, because the puzzle here is a little bit broken. Okay, we've got quite a few people here. Over on the left.
A man who looks as though he were born guilty slumps in a chair, contemplating a drink.
That is our man, Splits Magnola. And before I forget, let's take a look at the environs as well.
The checkerboard floor comprises a virtual sobriety test for the patrons of this upper-middle-class speak. They rarely notice it, though, as they are too busy slumming by watching professional wrestling on the holovid, which sometimes gets them so excited, it's a good thing the rifle on the wall is safely out of reach. A woman in brick-textured tights attends the bar with great calm. A lean man with a sociopathic stare pretends to relax in the speakeasy.
And that gentleman there is Milwaukee Jack, the assassin.
A rough-looking woman strokes the hair of the man sitting next to her. Both intently watch the fights on the vid. A bar patron and his date watch the fights on the vid screen.
And over on the right, that is Ged Dandy and Alyssa Kurter. Carla Prince is the bartender. And we've got some of that Ausgezeichnet Altbrau. Very interesting. And a vid screen. And there's some Tiger's Eye Lager as well. Lots of stuff here. And there's a shotgun. I think it's somewhere behind the bar. Let me see if I can find the hotspot for that. Well, there's the vid screen anyway.
Sporting events play out on the bar's vid screen. The place seems to be packed with sports fans. All the patrons seem to have their eyes glued to the screen.
Ah, there's the shotgun.
When the design is good, you stick with it. A classic double-barreled shotgun, first developed in the late 19th century, and essentially unchanged since.
Looks like we can't have that. Well, let's talk to some of the locals.
Well, of you, Rudy. My man Whip crushed him with Spike Bronze, a puncher out of Mexico City.
Big fight, huh?
Got me and my man Jed in the lather. Whip's the best metal thrower, but Spike's never been down. They're both so even is what it is. Both are recons with the Fenner Walters torso architecture. Mex in the torso, juicing up every punch. Spike's undefeated in Mexico, but Whip's no Aztec. He come fighting up from Louisiana. Dominated the Dallas Hub Battle Royals. He's gonna drive Spike into the canvas.
You know, it just occurred to me that her description said that she was running her fingers through the hair of her date, but Jed does not appear to have any of that commodity. Well, let's talk to him anyway.
You two fight fans, huh? Here to watch the fights.
Did you ever see the cross-species slugfest in Natchez, Mississippi? Woo-wee! I'm talking cyber ant bears taking on rabid wolf packs, rams with explosive charged horns, humans fighting mammals of all shapes and sizes.
Well, it sounds like a spectacle, I'll give you that. Maybe we can talk the Milljack out of his assignment if we're very persuasive, and... well, this is Gideon and Rachel we're talking about. It's probably not going to work out.
Good game, eh?
We're not sports fans.
Something on your mind, folks? I'm trying to relax. I'm kinda tense.
And our friendly barkeep, who you can always tell your troubles to.
I can take a pair of discs from 40 paces. You two got predator's eyes. Fits don't abide hunting in his place. People here just looking for a safe place to watch the fights. You got bad business with someone? Take it outside.
Yeah, they really weren't kidding about her brick-patterned tights. But you know, lady, that won't do your camo index any favors against that kind of background. You're gonna get caught by the GRU.
What do you know about those two guys? The Jack with a beard and the punk with the shifty eyes.
See? You're starting something. I knew you were here to start something. The kid is Splits Magnola. Been in and out for a few years, but lately he's been a real regular. Don't trust anybody, even though he is a Psy and can probably tell who's gonna rat him out. Big spender these days, like he did a big job or something.
What about the scary guy?
Been coming in steady for a few weeks. I thought he was trouble at first. I'm certain he's packing, but he's been steady. Guess there's no crime in looking like a killer, huh?
Well, let's see if we can get some of that booze.
The excellent old beer, first brewed by the Nazis in Berlin. This is the label of the upper crust in the days of the Solux regime.
That would be the Ausgezeichnet Altbrau.
The snooty brew of choice for 2095's happening now, upperly mobile in their dreams, people. Guaranteed to get you the car, the girl, or at least unconscious.
And that would be the Tiger's Eye Ale. Now then, the reason I say this puzzle is kind of broken is we can have a chat with Splits, and he'll give us some information on what we need to do here. But as soon as we do that, well, you'll see.
You're Split.
Hold it, Daddy. I'm glimpsing your short-term memory, and I'm glomming on Suzanne V. Toast, who's only the most psycho bitch I've ever met, except for maybe my morphine-crazed mother. Whatever you're pushing, if it's got Susie involved, I ain't interested.
Stay out of my head, you damn Psy. Susie in Columbus said you got your kicks from screwing with people's heads.
Yeah, like Saint Susie would never do something like that. Don't speak. Think. Just think it and I'll hear it. But nobody else will. I gotta be a little careful these days.
What are you saying, Splits?
Just saying that toaster pastry's got her dark spots like everyone else. What do you want? You can't really be here just 'cause of Susie.
You know a name in hell is bad when other characters are making fun of it.
Actually, we're here to warn you about a gun your old pals from the menials have contracted to kill you. He's sitting over there. Goes by the name of Milwaukee Jack.
You know, Gideon, Splits did say that you shouldn't say shit like this out loud. Or are you just thinking it, but your lips are flapping anyway? You know, that tends to not be a sign of a great intellect. Kind of like your mouth moving while you're reading.
Damn, I'm not packing. You two are gonna have to help me. There's a shotgun hanging over the bar. I don't have to move to levitate and fire it, but he might get hot to my play. Throwing up a shield around your thoughts is one thing, but cloaking a telepathy is something else. I might manage it, but I might not. And then the jack there will blow my head off. If you two can create a diversion, I'll be able to get a jump on it.
Alright, so what Splits needs is a little distraction, and he'll take care of the rest himself.
Diversion like what?
Who cares? Anything, so long as it's something big. Make it something that'll involve the losers in this place. Something that will create an emotional response. What we call a psychic event. Hopefully, that'll confuse him long enough for me to cash his chips.
Okay, so in particular, we need a diversion that will create a lot of excited thought around the bar. Fair enough. And here we have our problem. As soon as you get that little tidbit from Splits, Jack tends to immediately pull his gun and shoot Mr. Magnola dead as a can of Spam. So, really the only thing we can do is find out what we need to do, and then reload a save game, which is why I created one. Dirty pool, hell. Incidentally, this doesn't always happen. Every once in a while, you'll talk to Splits, and Jack will not kill him, and so that'll make a little more sense, but more often than not, it plays out exactly the way you just saw.
Unless you want to end up like your friend Splits, you'll just walk out of here and forget you ever saw that.
Well, walking out of here does sound kind of appealing. The problem is, the game is now officially unwinnable. We, cannot finish the game without the assistance of Mr. Magnola, so, we are, dead men and women walking at this point.
You two better make paper. I don't want to see you around here. Leave me with the damn janitor work. Damn, what a mess. Wind up in hell for sure this time.
Just for the flavor of it, before I reload that save, I'm just seeing how everyone reacts to the sudden shooting in the middle of the bar.
You better get lost before Fitz learns what you did to the vid.
We didn't do anything to the vid. However, that is another hint as to what we're going to need to do in the reload.
Hey, you gonna sit down and watch these fights? You're making me nervous with all that walking around.
And good old Jed does not give one shit about the murder. Alright then. That never happened. Now, the interesting thing about rewinding the clock in this fashion is that since we've never found out what the situation with Splits is, and found out that he needs us to create an emotional disturbance for a diversion, that means that Gideon is going to rear back and throw a bottle of Tiger's Eye Lager through the television for no reason whatsoever. He's a volatile fellow, that Mr. Ashanti. So, you remember that description from the shotgun on the wall about how it was your basic, classic shotgun with a design more or less unchanged since the 19th century? If that is the case, then, why the fuck did it fire a laser? Well, never mind.
Nice work. Maybe this'll back the menials off for a while. Man, Fitzgerald's gonna want to kill me when he sees what you did to the vid.
Okay, Splits. We helped you wipe out the Jack. You owe us.
Don't get pushy, sweetie. I sincerely appreciate the save, but don't think I couldn't have handled Milwaukee here without your help. I'll come with you, as long as you take me to Susie Toast. I can't have that frail sending people after me.
Well, that seems fair enough. Taking Splits back to Susie was what we were planning on doing in the first place.
What is it with you two? Susie seemed disgusted with you.
Disgusted because she doesn't have her hooks in me.
You could do worse than Susie Toast, Splits.
Just take my word for it. She's bad news. I'll go with you, but only if you agree to take me to the league so that I can case close that woman. Then we'll see about my helping you. You ready to shoot?
Well, it seems like a fair deal, but the problem is we have a full party right now, and we're not completely done with any of them. However, we are almost done with Scub Stevens, so we'll take care of his last requirement real quick, and then we'll come back for Splits.
Why don't you two debug your circuits and decide what you want from me? Let me figure out how I'm going to explain this vid to Fitz.
Alright, Splits, we'll be back. In the meantime, we'll take an Ausgezeichnet for the road. Menial's World Headquarters was around here somewhere. There we are. Now then. As I mentioned, we have one more use for Mr. Scub Stevens, and that is his dream powder. And we're going to add that to our fine bottle of German libations. And we now have a drugged Ausgezeichnet Altbrau.
This particular bottle of Ausgezeichnet Altbrau packs a bit more of a wallop than usual. It's laced with a heavy sedative.
Depressants on top of depressants. Always a recipe for a good time. Now if we just pop that in the fridge here. Down goes our buddy Mick, who for some reason changes color in the process. And now we have a digger unit. So we can now take that back to Susie Toast, and as per the deal we made, she can modify it with a cyber fry, and we can put a hurtin' on those menials. But I think we've done enough for one day, so I'm going to save that for next time. Always good having you along, folks. Thank you very much for watching. This is Un, with Hell, a cyberpunk thriller, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.